attacks gave way to chronic fatigue. I was a wreck. A total lost cause. 12 hours of sleep felt like one. I'd get out of bed every morning thinking, will this ever end? Why did I feel so tired? So run down, so anxious and so confused. But I kept following that old...
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio.
Tune into Revolution Radio, where truth breaks the spell and information never sleeps. Tune into Revolution Radio, where truth breaks the spell and information never sleeps. Tune into Revolution Radio, where truth breaks the spell and information never sleeps. Never sleeps. Never sleeps. Tune into Revolution Radio, where truth breaks the spell and information never sleeps.
Are you interested in the paranormal? Murder mystery? Real natural law? You enjoy interviews with amazing guests? Then join Crypt Rick every Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Revolution Radio. Studio A, freedomslips.com. Crypt Rick's I've Been Thinking. Welcome to the crypt.
Woke up on the wrong side, application denied. Searching for the keys, they're locked
Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing today? I hope it's fantastic, or at least mostly good. It is Thursday. This is the Omnium-Gatherum show. I'm your host, Miss B the Cat, and we are on Revolution Radio, Studio A. I'm very happy to be here and hanging out with you guys. I didn't know if I was going to make it. I had to help my brother with some stuff, and I genuinely did not know if I was going to make it back in time to do the show today, so that's been fun-a-rooney. So if you don't follow me on social media, I was saying that I wanted to speed run through some news really quick, most of which I will probably pull from my Twitter account because I saved a bunch of stuff because I genuinely do not know what to do with some of the information that's coming out. So I wanted to speed run some news, but I wanted to just kind of ease into it a little bit because some of it's pretty terrible and pretty heavy. So we're just gonna hang out for a second while I make sure all of my stuff is pulled up. And I just want to say that I hope you guys are doing all right. I hope you're having a good time. I did one art stream this week because I was once again, much to my dismay, I was plagued, I tell you, with migraines and nausea for most of the week. Sunday, I pretty much completely forgot that I completely forgot that I was gonna stream. Hey, don't touch that. Thank you. And because my boyfriend had his kiddo over and didn't tell me until the last minute that she'd be staying with us to Monday. And Saturday and Sunday was just kind of a lot for us. We did a lot of stuff. We went to the park and we hung out and we painted and we did a lot more than we usually do, energetically speaking. So we were pretty burnt. And then Sunday, I just wasn't feeling super good. I had like a weird feeling. Excuse me. I was just kind of nauseous. I don't know. And then Monday I was super nauseous and had a really bad migraine. And Tuesday, it was pretty rough, to be honest. Like, Tuesday was pretty bad. It was probably the worst of my migraines. And it didn't really settle down until the early evening. And then by that point, I was still nauseous. But since I hadn't slept much, I was too tired, like, mentally to try to do a stream. I had been practicing some doodles with these acrylic pens that I've got, trying to warm myself up for a productive art stream, and so I'm still kind of bummed I didn't successfully do one until yesterday. And yesterday's stream, I don't know, I'm not super happy with it, so I just I'll be honest, I took some clips that are like stupid and get off the dang keyboard, ma'am. Thank you. I know you want to be a part of the radio, but that's not how we do it. Sorry. Momo is trying her hand to be the best radio assistant, and while she is usually pretty good, the last few days she just has a thing with sitting on my new keyboard. Anyway, so it's just been an interesting week. The migraines have been pretty rough. I am starting to get one today, I think, like right now, because I'm tired. I had to help my brother with some stuff, and I was in the car for like, golly, six and a half hours, almost 7 hours, driving all over creation to help him with some stuff. So that was a little bit rough on my day, which is why I didn't think I was going to make it. But I did. Here I am. Here we are, hanging out. It's kind of nice to take a break. I shoveled food down my throat as fast as I could because I didn't get to eat today. I used up all of my coffee and creamer this morning to get to my brother 2.5 hours away. Or, well, it was 2 hours because there was, like, no traffic, which was nice. But nonetheless, I forgot to ask him to buy me a coffee on the way home. So I have a soda for caffeine, and I did not have the healthiest lunch. It was just the quickest thing I could make in the house, and now my neck and my back hurt a little bit because I am sleepy. And I have to go get my mom after work because I had to borrow her car. And so it's just a lot of in the car and sitting today. But that's okay. Because you know what? Sometimes it'd be like that. I've been saying I need to get out of the house. This is not what I meant. But here we are. Be careful what you ask for. Because sometimes you'll get exactly what you asked for. But it's not what you want. Anyway, today's color is green, by the way. It is Thursday, which is a money day. So I actually, to start things off, I wanted to talk to you guys about money bowls. Let me pull it up really quick. Beep, 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 beep. I talked about this a while ago, but I vaguely remember talking about it with TikTok and stuff. I had seen someone talk about it more exclusively, but basically, if you get yourself a really nice bowl, something in your house that screams like wealth or abundance or like fancy, get a nice bowl and fill it with rice and some preferably sea salt, but you know, any salt that works. Rice and salt. You could make green rice. I don't remember what it's called, like basil rice or something. Money rice, I guess is what it's actually called. You can make money rice. I believe it's with basil, so it helps to have basil. I don't have any basil. But it's, so you get a fancy bowl, and then you put it rice and some salt, and you put some fancy coins in it to represent wealth. Maybe some cash money as a symbol of the wealth that you want to attract. Cinnamon sticks for attracting prosperity. Bay leaves which possess their own magical manifestation properties. And maybe some citrine if you have it. That's a pretty good one. Or like peridot. I know some people put peridot in theirs. And sometimes a green candle, which is also green, being associated with money, wealth, abundance, and health and stuff. Let's see if I can pull up this picture. The color green. We'll put that direct and center really quick. Color of the day should always be on top. Yeah, so green is the color of harmony and health, abundance, wealth. It is a relaxing color that revitalizes our mind and body. It balances our emotions. It leaves us feeling safe and secure. It's also a color of hope, and being that, you know, abundance can just be growth in general. It's really good. It's also good luck. So those are some different colors, properties associated with the color green. And today we're going to talk about the money bowl. If you don't know, there is what's called a money corner in your house. And it is the cornermost northeast, or the northeastmost corner, whatever, you know what I'm saying. The northeast corner of your house. Mine happens to be where my computer and stuff is. And you're supposed to have your money bowl in that area to attract the most abundance and wealth. And if you have certain plants that can attract it too, like a bamboo or a money tree, or I have a lot of pothos, whatever. I have a lot of wandering dudes. I got a lot of spider plants. Those are all things that you can put in the area. I think there are... Oh my gosh, excuse me. I go to stretch and I start yawning. I believe there are more plants that are technically associated with money and prosperity and like money bowl stuff. But my boyfriend has a money tree and I have a money tree. His money tree is on the table that we eat dinner at, that we sit at the most, because I feel like it is sort of a good neutral space for us to have stuff, because I don't have any. I would put it in the back over here, but there's no room for it. Because I already have mine up here. And the only other cornermost in the northeast of the house is in my mom's room, and she doesn't want any plants in her room because she doesn't appreciate my plants. She forgets to water them, and I forget they're in there. So his is on the table. But we eat there, so for me it's kind of a symbol of like eating well, like abundantly full and stuff like that. So he puts money in his money tree, and mine exists mostly on magic and wishes. Because I have some, currently I have like 4 stray dollars. He gets to put 20s in his, because he usually has a bigger amount of cash than me. And they both seem to work. I've got crystals and magic, and I had a fairy, and I knocked her over a while ago. And honestly, I think that really took a toll, because her wings broke and I have to glue them back on, and it's really upsetting because I haven't made any money since she fell and lost her wings. And I feel like that is not a good sign for my fairy. I have not found a safe glue to use on her yet, though. I don't want it to melt anything because she's kind of a poly resin, like a really soft sort of plastic. So if anyone has any tips on what I can use to glue those things back, I got her at an Asian marketplace in Fort Collins many, many years ago. I've had her forever. But she usually sits in my money tree and brings me all kinds of good luck and stuff. So, if you have any fairies or mystical creatures that you can put in your money corner with your money bowl, I highly suggest you do this. And Thursdays are a good day to meditate and manifest money, do your money spells. You know, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am abundant, I am full. Money loves me, money loves to be spent by me, money comes to my pocket, and money gets spent 3 times 3, I think was one of the chants that I've seen people do online. There's a bunch of stuff. If you're on the internets, if you're on the social media, just look up money spells or like money spell song, especially on like TikTok. That stuff, there's so many good ones. And it just depends on how you do it. I wish I had one like queued up, but the ones that I have found, well, maybe I can pull it up on Instagram. The ones that I had saved were on TikTok, but I'm not in TikTok anymore because I don't trust it. Let's see. Maybe I can pull it up. There's a couple really good ones that like I usually say a lot, and I really like it. Let's see. Oh, that's loud. There's one that was a lady, and she just had a really good vibe, and I really, really liked it. Let's see. None of these are what I thought they would be, and I'm sure I sent it to myself 100 times, but I never look at my own messages. Oh my gosh, I've sent myself so much stuff about the files and some of the crazy stuff going on right now politically. So I don't know. Instagram doesn't really let you search in your messages efficiently. I should have pulled this up. I feel so silly. I do have a lot of these though. Okay, I might not be able to find it. We'll see. This is all very political. Lots and lots of political. I've been sending myself a ton of stuff on my radiogram that I keep meaning to reshare because people are getting mad at me for posting this stuff on, well, just in general. But I've been sharing a lot of these posts and videos on my Instagram, Miss B the Cat, and I feel like it's important to talk about. I know it's a lot for a lot of people, and it's hard on most people mentally and emotionally and maybe even spiritually, and it is very important that we talk about these things. It is. I know a lot of people don't want to, but it is important. Good grief. I don't know where that freaking video is. But I see in here, it's not a song, but money affirmations that you can say to bring more flow into your life. I am open and ready to receive unlimited abundance. Money flows to me easily, effortlessly, and consistency. I attract wealth and prosperity with every thought that I think. I am aligned with the energy of financial freedom. My income constantly increases through multiple sources. I deserve to be financially secure and spiritually fulfilled. Every rupee I spend returns to me multiplied. The universe supports me in my financial goals. I am a magnet for success, opportunities, and wealth. Abundance is my natural state. I live in prosperity every day. You can find that on Instagram under Inducing Tarot. Oh, Inducing Tarot. It's INDUSINGH Tarot. Her name is Indu Singh. SINGH. And she posted that 18 weeks ago. I'm sure she has many more of them posted very similarly, but I like the money flows to me easily and money flows to me constantly. Money flows to me effortlessly, and abundance is my natural state. I live in prosperity every day. I think those are really good ones. I mention those. I say those out loud a lot to myself. Maybe I'm a little delulu, but you know what? Sometimes it works. But anyway, money bowl. Get a fancy bowl if you can find one, a gold one, an Asian style money bowl. They have actual like money bowls. Like it is a bowl made to bring in money in your house. You can put some feng shui, like a feng shui money pot. You can get some Asian money coins. There's like Chinese money coins. I had a Chinese money coin mirror that broke recently, which I feel has also inhibited my ability to make money, which is super frustrating. But anything gold is really good. So if you have like a nice gold ring or something you don't wear very often, you could put that in your money bowl. If you have a lot of nice crystals, this looks like tiger's eye, citrine, green aventurine. Oh my goodness. Are you serious right now? Okay, I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. I have to let my brother's dog out. I'm babysitting his doggo. 2 seconds, folks. Kid, you could not have picked a worse time to tell me you have to go potty. I asked you earlier. Okay, sorry about that. I'm dog sitting and I couldn't get her to go out before the show, and my boyfriend just went upstairs like 25 minutes ago to take a nap, so I will probably have to bring her back in shortly. I'm running a zoo over here. It's just so many critters. Oh my goodness. Anyway, money bowls. Yeah. So anyway, gold stuff, citrine, tiger's eye, and what did I say? Green aventurine. That's another really good one to have in your bowl. And basically you just put all that stuff around. You get like a little candle. You don't need a big one. You can get little ones from like, for like 99 cents at like Hobby Lobby or Walmart or whatever. You can even get a green tea light. It doesn't have to be a big candle, but you light it and you wish yourself lots of wealth and abundance. You meditate on it and you focus your energy on bringing financial prosperity into your life while the candle is going. And that's just a cute little ritual that you can do on Thursdays, which is a lucky day, and it's also a financial day. Thursdays are money days, so I like that today, excuse you, Mo, God, the animals are driving me nuts today. They're crazy. They're all mad at me for getting up at the crack of dawn to go do anything. We are also in, oh man, did I miss the new moon? Are you serious right now? Am I crazy? How did I miss that? Where's my moon app? Stop chewing on the cords. I did! Yesterday was the new moon and it was an eclipse. My bad. There's a lot of stuff that's been happening. Would you quit it? So we are in the first cycle of our newest moon. It is at 7% waxing crescent right now. And it looks like it is in the sign of Pisces, but will be entering, what is that, Aries? I think. Thank you for the kisses. Let's see. Yes. Yeah, so we are in Pisces right now. The sun is also in Pisces, but we will be moving into Aries tomorrow around 2:39 p.m. Eastern. Would you if you're gonna bite the dang cords, you can go away. Good grief. I don't know what is into the animals today. The eclipse yesterday had everybody like super tired and just lethargic and agitated, and I forgot today is the 19th and yesterday was the eclipse, so That's fun. I miss every single one of them. I'm so mad. February 2026 eclipse. I'm so upset that I missed it again. So here's a Reddit post from 3 days ago about the solar eclipse. 2 days ago, I guess. The solar eclipse of February 17th, 2026 at 20 degrees Aquarius falls in the final highly karmic degree of Aquarius, often called the anaretic degree. Eclipses act as a powerful reset point, and in Aquarius, this is one that emphasizes innovation, independence, community dynamics, technology, humanitarian ideals, and long-term visions. Because it is a solar eclipse, it marks the beginning rather than an ending, but one that may require releasing outdated social roles or future plans first. Aquarius energy is intellectual, future-oriented, and reformist. This eclipse can bring sudden insights, changes in friendships or networks, shifts in group affiliations, and breakthroughs in unconventional paths. It favors authenticity over conformity. However, because the Aquarius can also detach emotionally, one challenge of this eclipse is feeling isolated, misunderstood, or disconnected from personal emotions while focusing too much on ideals or collective concerns. Benefits of this eclipse include clarity about long-term goals, breakthroughs in technology or online ventures, liberation from restrictive social expectations, and attracting new communities aligned with your authentic self. It can accelerate innovation, humanitarian projects, and career paths involving science, digital platforms, astrology, or progressive movements. Mentally, it can spark visionary thinking and inventive solutions. I really need glasses. My eyes are struggling. Challenges may involve sudden endings in friendships, ideological conflicts, rebellious decisions made too abruptly, or instability in group settings. Fixed signs may feel this eclipse more intensely because Aquarius is a fixed air sign. There can also be tension between individuality and belonging, wanting freedom while still desiring connection. The signs that can benefit the most are Aquarius, obviously, Gemini, and Libra, with Aquarius experiencing a powerful personal reset and visibility boost. Gemini and Libra, as fellow air signs, may experience new opportunities, networking advantages, and mental clarity. Sagittarius and Aries may also benefit through new visionary directions and expanded social circles. The signs that may feel more pressure are Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio, because the eclipse forms a tense square or opposition to their sun if they have planets near 28 degrees of any of those signs. For them, adjustments around stability, identity, power dynamics, or long-term plans may be required before progress unfolds. Overall, the sign that can benefit most is obviously Aquarius, especially those with personal planets or angles near 28 degrees. This eclipse pushes Aquarius towards defining shift in identity, purpose, and future direction, often bringing opportunities that align strongly with their authentic individuality, even if the path forward requires bold changes. I feel like I'm having a stroke. I'm so sorry. This was posted by Snoo Compliments 1842 on r/astrology charts on Reddit. That's really cool. That's really cool. I did not know any of that. Someone else posted, Snoo Compliments 1842 responded 2 days ago. The solar eclipse is in 28 degrees and 49, I don't know, is that feet? No. I don't know what the extra little apostrophe is in mapping. I apologize, but it's 28 degrees and 49 whatever follows. Aquarius may be considered anaretic because it falls within the 2 final degrees of the zodiac sign, a zone traditionally associated with urgency, culmination, and karmic reckoning. In classic astrology, the anaretic degree is most strictly defined as the 29th degree, or 29 degrees 0 to 29:59, of any sign, sometimes called the degree of fate. However, many astrologers extend this concept to the entire 28th and 29th degree range because the energetic shift into the next sign is already building. At 28:49, the planet or luminary is less than 1/2 degree from leaving Aquarius, which symbolically intensifies the themes of completion and crisis. Anaretic degrees are not inherently negative, but they carry pressure. They represent unfinished business within the archetype of the sign. In Aquarius, this may manifest as heightened tension around collective ideals, social systems, innovation, rebellion, and humanitarian principles. There is often a sense that something must be resolved immediately before the energy transitions into Pisces. The sign's qualities can express in extreme exaggerated form, either in their highest expression, visionary breakthroughs, collective awakening, or in distorted form, detachment, ideological rigidity, social fragmentation. When a solar eclipse occurs at such a late degree, the anaretic quality is magnified. Eclipses already signify endings and beginnings, so placed near 29 degrees, they emphasize the karmic culmination. It can feel like the final chapter of a longer Aquarian storyline, compressing lessons that might otherwise unfold gradually. The proximity to a square from Uranus further intensifies the anaretic tone. Uranus governs sudden shifts and liberation from stagnation. Its frictional aspect to a near final degree eclipse suggests accelerated resolution, events that force closure or radical change because time has run out for the incremental adjustment. In esoteric and karmic frameworks, the anaretic degree is sometimes viewed as a point where mastery or imbalance is revealed. The soul, the collective, or the cycle has reached the edge of the experience within that archetype. Either the higher octave of Aquarius is embodied, innovation aligned with humanitarian wisdom, or the shadow erupts to expose what has been neglected. Thus, 28 degrees and 49, Aquarius carries the weight of immense imminence. It is the threshold before disillusion into Pisces, and the liminal position is what gives it its anaretic character. Wow, that's cool. Dad, it's a shame you're not listening right now. This is for you, the Aquarius in the house. Anyway, that's really interesting. And, I have some Aquarius placements in my chart. I should go back and look at my birth chart. That's really interesting. And I definitely personally, also it's, Chinese New Year, I think. Chinese New Year. It was Tuesday, February 17th. So that's kind of wild that we moved into the year of the fire horse on the 17th, while there was also a solar eclipse that covered most of the United States and pretty much all of Texas, which explain, you know what? It was like super cloudy and blah yesterday too. That also did not help. That's wild. Was it solar or lunar eclipse? I thought it was a lunar eclipse. It says solar eclipse here. Okay. It's considered the Ring of Fire, and it's an annular solar eclipse, or was. The full Ring of Fire would be visible primarily over Antarctica. That's interesting, especially considering the state of the world. Partial visibility, we had, it says from southern South America, Chile, Argentina, and parts of southern Africa and the surrounding oceans, which is interesting because I saw a chart that said it came through my area of Texas and stuff. Like, it came across the United States, like mostly the South. I don't know. I didn't see anyone talk about it, so maybe nobody saw it. It's the first solar eclipse in Aquarius in nearly 8 years, which opens an 18-month cycle. That's really interesting. And since the fire horse symbolizes independence, high energy, and decisive action, this is a really good combination. It's a rare combination because the fire horse cycle only comes around once every 60 years. The astrological and cultural meaning of this eclipse is known as a final clearing, or a reset. Yeah, like that last post was saying. So the fire horse bringing a lot of dynamic energy, and a solar eclipse in Aquarius is, representing innovation or future focused, signifies a period of major change, unpredictability, and necessary, sometimes forced progress. Interesting. And in 2 weeks, we'll have a total lunar eclipse on March 3rd. That's wild. It will also coincide with the Lantern Festival. This one will be visible over North America, Asia, and Australia. What? The 2026 Lunar New Year, February 17th, is a rare cosmic trifecta of a new moon, a solar eclipse, and the start of a fire horse year, making it an especially powerful, transformative time of year for celebration and new beginnings. That's wild. I didn't know that. I need to look into that a little bit more. That's really cool. I like that a lot. Oh god, I should sit up straight. I'm streaming, but my back hurts. This is not a flattering angle to be sitting at. I need a better chair. My back hurts. Ooh, it's 3:33 right now where I am. Make a wish. Make a wish. I don't care what you're doing. Stop what you're doing for 5 seconds in your brain and make a wish. I wish for you all to have a fantastic, magical day and a wonderful new year. Because I love you. Wow, all of that's really cool. So, meow, meow, meow. Yes, you too, Momo. Absolutely. Oh, Momo brought everybody a fish. So, you should know that this should be an abundant year full of surprises. Because I did not know she even had this fish. I was pretty sure I put it somewhere else. So, you know what? You know what? Momo has brought you a fish. Also, I need to go let the dog in. Hold on 1 second, please. Thanks, Mo. 2 fish. I lied. Momo brought you guys 2 fish. 1 fish, 2 fish, brown fish, blue fish. That's kind of cool. Look at that. Fancy. And I wish you guys could see the doggo. She's very sweet. Oh my gosh, I'm so full. My back hurts. I feel very foggy. Very foggy. I have 1 viewer. That's cool. Wait, did I get another? I think I did. I think I got another. I have 59 followers. I need 11. No. 12 more people on Twitch to hit my affiliate status if anyone's interested. Because if you didn't know, I'm streaming right now. What was I going to say? Oh, I find that all of this movement forward with the eclipse is really cool and the fire horse is really cool. For me personally, because if you guys didn't tune in last week, I started my own Substack. People have been telling me to do this forever. And apparently I did this many years ago and I forgot. So that's fun. So I started my Substack. I started uploading episodes of the radio show from my first year and then realized I needed to categorize that in its own area because I feel like I feel like it would be better that way. To put in like season 1, season 2, season 3. So season 1 is my first year on the radio. Season 2 will be my second year, which was last year. And this year, the beginning of this year, will be season 3. I might even start the Saturday shows as season 3. I don't know yet, but I wanted to start with this year's shows as kind of like I want people to be able to catch up on like newer stuff because the show has been through, very significant changes in the last 2 years. I also can't believe I've been on the radio for 2 years already. It's crazy. It's crazy. I completed 2 years. 2 years, Momo. That's absolutely wild. Very humbled by that. So I made a Substack. So if you'd like to follow me on Substack, hello. It is missbii.substack.com. That's missbii.substack.com. If Momo could stop walking into the microphone, that would be wonderful. Yeah. So I'm going to start trying to put all my blogs and stuff up there. I'm going to do some vlogs, I guess, that will be under a subscription, because I don't necessarily think everyone needs access to some of what I have to say. I think you have to make an intention to some of the stuff I'm doing. Like, I am a creative person, and I'm trying to make money, and while it pains me to put stuff behind paywalls, because I hate it, and I hate it. I hate it, but I need money. And if people are going to support me, that is how you do it. You support me by subscribing to things. Whether it's subscribing to my Substack or subscribing to my Ko-fi to support my art, or if you just want to give like a small donation to me for being on the radio, that's fine too. You know, we are listener supported here at Revolution Radio, so it really means a lot to us when people can and do donate to the station. If you can, you know, if you're interested in supporting us financially, there are a bajillion different ways to give us donations. Just go to revolution.radio, where you're probably listening right now. And one of the first things that pops up is ways to support us, so you can't really get distracted. But I do know that there is an update coming for the website, so that's really exciting. So I don't... I assume it's going to look mostly the same. There is a, like, proxy tester site, I think, available for some hosts to check out and share their opinions. But yeah, right when you go here, the first thing that loads is Welcome to Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps and truth breaks the spell. Thank you for your support. This has become a patron, donor box, and direct payment for North America only. We also accept crypto. We take Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash. There is some other information as you scroll down the page, but those are the most important. So if you'd like to support us here at Rev Radio, because we, the hosts, give all of our time here, like we're all volunteers. Everyone who takes care of the station, we have a set monthly goal for what we need to make to... Would you stop eating all my nice paper? Get down. I know you have food. You're being so rude. Sorry. I know that, we have a monthly goal that we try to hit here at the station. Most of the time, if we don't get at least very close, we hit it pretty easily. So that's pretty nice, and we appreciate all of our listeners for supporting us. It means a lot to us. If you cannot support us financially, you can support us by sharing our shows, by checking out the archive, listening to stuff, tagging us on social media, following us on social media, and doing all those cool free things like telling your friends about how cool it is and listening. And just every time you tune in and listen, we, pop up on different platforms online that register those things, like TalkStream Live is a big place for people to, see who's doing well on the radio, and we really appreciate that. So, that helps us out a lot. Oh my goodness. My brain is so fried these last few weeks. I discovered something about long COVID, which I didn't know if I believed it or not. I thought maybe it was just a disillusionment about being ill and it was some sort of other effect. But long COVID, I pulled it up on my Twitter page, and it says scientific discovery says people with COVID now have scientifically been proven to have sticky microclots in their blood. And it's these weird little microclots that attach to your DNA. And where did I see? I saw some kind of information about it too. There was like more details somewhere. Where did it go? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I saw it in these chats. Here it is. It's one of the most complex phenomena physicians have been facing since the beginning of this pandemic, from Raid Mohammed on Twitter. These microclots differ from the large traditional clots that may appear in the leg or lungs. They are microscopic and spread through the tiny capillaries. These clots are primarily composed of fibrin, a protein that helps blood to clot. In the case of COVID-19, these clots become resistant to breakdown. Important note, traditional clot diagnostics such as the D-dimer test may not always detect these microclots because they are too small to appear in routine examinations, which requires specialized microscopic techniques for detection. Also, I saw... Okay, this is on ScienceDaily.com. I need to have better, what do you call it? posture. I'm hurting myself. Trying to comfortably sit here and read stuff. Why is this not? There we go. I'm sharing that on the stream chat. I will post this here in the Discord chat. No, I don't want a PDF. Okay, so scientists have spotted unusual microscopic formations in long COVID blood that may be key to lasting effects, talking about brain fog, slow thinking, memory issues, hard time breathing. This says there's an image that they have up that says microscopic image of a microclot found in the blood of a person with long COVID, enlarged 63 times. The green areas show an abnormal sticky protein network, while the red and blue areas come from immune cellular material that has become trapped inside the microclot. Together, they form these dense clumps that may block tiny blood vessels and reduce oxygen flow, a process thought to play a role in the ongoing symptoms seen in long COVID. A new investigation into long COVID has identified a physical connection between circulating microclots and neutrophil extracellular traps, or NETs. This link points to an underlying biological interactions between the two, which may contribute to illness when these processes fall out of balance. Microclots are small, unusual clusters of blood clotting proteins that circulate in the bloodstream. The term became widely used in 2021 after Professor Rija Pretorius of Stellenbosch University Department of Physiological Sciences reported finding these abnormal protein clumps in blood samples from some COVID-19 patients. Their potential involvement in COVID-related clotting problems drew significant attention as the pandemic unfolded. Excuse me. This is stressing me out to think about because I'm so mad that nobody took any of my stuff about COVID seriously for years, and now it's coming out in pieces. Dr. Alon Terry and his group at the Montpellier Cancer Institute, IRCM, at INCERM in Montpellier were among, I'm probably saying that wrong, I'm sorry, were among the first to highlight the importance of nets in COVID-19. Nets from when neutrophils, I've never seen some of these words before, I am struggling, release their DNA through a process called netosis, creating a thread-like structure filled with harmful enzymes that can quickly trap and neutralize invading microbes. Although nets help defend against infection, producing too many of them can be harmful. Excess net formation has been linked to serious inflammatory and clotting conditions, including severe infections, autoimmune diseases, cancer, diabetes, and arthritis. Dr. Terry notes that ongoing overproduction of nets driven by cycles of inflammation and clot formation may worsen disease severity. In light of this, the teams led by Professor Pretorius and Dr. Terry worked together to examine whether microclots and nets interact with patients in long COVID. Their key findings: using imagery, flow cytometry, and fluorescence microscopy, the researchers conducted detailed measurements of microclots and nets in the plasma of individuals with long COVID and compared the results to healthy controls. They also qualified nets by assessing proteic markers and circulating DNA. They reported several major observations. Biomarkers linked to both microclots and nets were significantly elevated in long COVID patients. Patients showed not only an increased number of microclots, but also larger microclots. And most notably, the team identified a structural relationship between microclots and nets. This association appeared in all samples, but was far more substantial in people with long COVID. You are driving me nuts, dude. Stop. I don't want to hear it from you. I'm on the radio. These findings suggest that the existence of underlying physiological interactions between microclots and nets that, when dysregulated, may become pathogenic, explains Dr. Terry. The researchers are also incorporated... Oh my god, cat, get down. No, you're driving me nuts. I don't know what you want. You're not usually this much of a problem. So sorry, you guys. Working from home, the animals have decided to be having fits. Thank you, Gigi. You tell her. The researchers also incorporated artificial intelligence tools, including machine learning, to analyze biomarker patterns. These methods allowed them to accurately differentiate long COVID patients from healthy individuals and pinpoint the most informative biomarker combinations. Such insights could support a more precise diagnostics and future personalized treatments. Professor Pretorius emphasizes that the study reveals a buildup of microclots in the plasma of long COVID patients, likely supported by excessive net activity. This interaction could render microclots more resistant to fibrinolysis? Hold on. What is this word? How do I say it? What is this word? How do I say it though? That doesn't tell me anything. Fibrinolysis. I don't know. Fibrinolysis. 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 Yeah, fibrinolysis. That sounds like it. That I feel like that linguistically makes sense. Which is a process that prevents blood clots from growing and becoming problematic. Primary fibrinolysis is a normal body process, while secondary fibrinolysis is the breakdown of clots due to a medical disorder or some other cause. A fibrin clot, the production of coagulation is then broken down. Its main enzyme, plasmin, cuts the fibrin mesh at various places, leading to the production of circulating fragments that are cleared by other proteases or by kidney and liver. What? Oh my god. Okay, this interaction could render microclots more resistant to fibrinolysis, promoting their persistence in circulation and contributing to chronic microvascular complications, she explains. By clarifying how nets may stabilize microclots, the study contributes valuable information about the biological processes involved in long COVID. The findings also highlight potential therapeutic approaches aimed at reducing harmful clotting and inflammation. In addition, the work advances the search for new biomarkers that could help diagnose and manage long COVID. As the authors note, the combination of advanced imaging techniques and machine learning confers methodological robustness and contributes significantly to ongoing scientific discourse on post-viral syndromes. In patients with long COVID, a new study has revealed structural association between circulating microclots and neutrophil extracellular traps, NETs. Nets. This finding suggests the existence of underlying physiological interactions between microclots and nets that, when dysregulated, may become pathogenic. Isn't that what we just read, like, in the last paragraph? Did I not already read this? I feel like I literally read this already. Okay, that was weird. It, like, repeats an entire page. Sorry, one second. I'm trying to find my place. Where did I lose my place? Okay, that just repeated itself for like a page and a half for some reason. Sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, so if you had COVID, which is a biochemical warfare agent, and I refuse to accept any other arguments because that shit almost killed me, and I remember watching it come to life after studying it in high school, and people laughed at me, said I was crazy and paying attention to the wrong things. It is a biochemical warfare agent. They have been working on it since at least 2003. It was patented in 2006, and it was released in the Wuhan labs after being tried and worked on for many years out there. And all of this is connected to the crazy stuff I was going to jump into. We're getting ready to go to break in a few minutes, so I won't get too into that. But this stresses me out, actually, personally, because for some of you who don't know, I had COVID before anyone knew that it was COVID. That's not what it was called. And the doctors refused to see me. Now, if anyone has been here since before I had my radio show and you've heard my interviews with folks like Jonathan Wright and Caroline Tumblety and Madeline Rudy and Solaris and Crypt Rick, Bill Grant, other places on the internet. If you follow me on social media, you probably know. I mean, I haven't talked about it in a few years, but in September of 2019, I was watching the protests in China, in Hong Kong, and I was paying very, very close attention to a lot of that stuff. I had friends that were, working with journalists and who were living in China at the time, who were talking about this stuff as it was happening, and what they were telling me was not what was being televised. It was not at all the same experience. So I was watching a lot of foreign national television and news broadcasts. Like, a lot. Like, I had a friend who paid for multiple subscriptions to VPNs and stuff to watch the news in other countries. And what I noticed was that there was a bunch of information coming out about some weird American financially supported institutions that were working on very strange biological things. They didn't all necessarily say biological weapons, but they did say strange biological medical things. And I remember studying that they were using certain animals in that region of China to try to spread the disease and test how quickly it would get to humans from animals. I pointed this out for months, between September and March, I think. In October, I went to, in October, I went to a friend's wedding anniversary party, and we all partook in smoking marijuana together because it's Colorado, and that's just what my friends and I were doing. It wasn't anything super significant. It was just a quick, one hitter each. Everybody just took, a single puff in a unison for celebration of my friends because they didn't really drink at the time. And as soon as I took a hit off the joint or whatever, I immediately felt something hit the back of my mouth, and my soft palate felt like it was attacked by a foreign entity. I don't know how else to describe it. I felt my soft palate being personally violently assaulted by something that crawled inside of my throat. And I immediately felt very sick, and I immediately felt like I was under attack. I felt like something was attacking me spiritually, but on a physical scale. It was the most bizarre experience. And when I think about it more as a visual context, it was almost like I inhaled a bug and it crawled directly into my soft palate, knowing exactly how to hit my immune system. That's how specific this felt. I know a lot of people will say it's crazy, but I'm also aware of nanotechnology that people don't want to talk about that has been reforming our DNA for many, many years. And people act like this is not, that people act like this isn't a thing. And I don't know how else to describe to people that this is real. This is a real thing. And it's not super sci-fi. It's not crazy. It's for real. And I got so sick. And I remember when it happened, right before I saw my friends, I was watching the protests, right? And, I was watching the protests, and at one point, the Chinese government released a bunch of gases, a bunch of canisters. And a lot of people said, oh, they're releasing tear gas. Everybody, keep your goggles up. And something about it looked wrong. It didn't smoke like regular tear gas. It gassed up like something else. And I remember watching that and thinking, something is wrong. That's not tear gas. And then the next thing I knew, the streets of Hong Kong were cleared and a bunch of people were sick and or dropping dead. I immediately called a bunch of people and said they have released a biochemical warfare agent on the folks of China, and we need to be prepared. I'm going to put a pin in that. We're getting ready to go to break. I'm going to play a couple of videos when we come back. Thank you for hanging out. I will talk to you guys in just a second.
We'll be right back after this message.
ever feel that things were not quite right? That everything was just ever so slightly askew?
Do you have, to paraphrase Morpheus, a splinter in your mind?
If you're interested in hearing the latest information about UFOs, the paranormal,
Ancient cultures and structures,
monatomic elements,
longevity,
fantastic discoveries in science,
downloaded to your brain,
then tune into us. Hi, I'm Dave.
and I'm Mackie.
And we are Shiny Side Out, Sundays 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern. See you then.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Do you want to really get to the roots of good health and stay strong for the storms ahead? Then listen to Bridget's Well, Healing with the Elements of Life. Tuesdays, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Studio A, where stories are shared about traditional foods, Chinese medicine, and simple, healthy living skills. Listen to Bridget's Well, Tuesdays, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Studio A, right here on Revolution Radio.
The Hijacker.
I'm shot up, I'm sick, I'm broke. They won't even give me a birth certificate. But I'm the hijacker, and I'm a big, big bean for action.
The true reality of this world. Tuesdays, 5 p.m. Only at Revolution Radio.
Mountain High Time, 2 hours of an organization to the madness, discussing the ever-changing dynamics of being both physically and mentally prepared for a plethora of possible outcomes to our future and present. A look into the latest technologies, new scientific discoveries, and how they might be used in connection to the human domain and controlling it, ancient cultures and places. Be warned. This is an opinionated look through headlines, guests that are not afraid to question the narrative, a little bit of crazy ramblings of a stoner conspiracy factus that pushes constitutional concepts. The place and the time are the same, another dimension we call Mountain High Time. Saturdays 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Mountain High Time, right here on Revolution.radio, where information never sleeps and truth breaks the spell.
Join Revolution Radio every Sunday at 5 p.m. Studio B for Strange Universe. For Strange Universe.
I want to thank everybody for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the one place where information never sleeps. Revolution Radio.
All right, let's show them what we got now.
All right, thanks for listening while we take that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And now we're going to get back to your host.
Hello, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out. If you are on Twitch, you probably saw that I'm scrolling through some more of the comments on that the long COVID thing. Before I get too distracted and run off on Twitter and forget what I was doing. Yeah, so I felt personally assaulted by this thing that I experienced, and I remember looking at my friends and being like instantly everyone knew I was sick, because I've had a really bad immune system for most of my life, and I get very sick very easily, or at least I did. I haven't had many problems in the last few years because I've been taking better care of myself, and I don't allow myself to be sick. I refuse to consent to being sick. But in 2019, my friends looked at me and they realized something was terribly wrong. And my one friend who had known me the longest was like, oh no, like that might have been a death sentence for B. And then I find out that her husband called the piece we were smoking out of his sick stick, and he had been really ill for a few weeks right after the Hong Kong riots experienced that gassing that cleared the streets. There was a bunch of people that came back to the United States and other countries. Everybody was really sick. There was a lot of like weird illnesses. A lot of people were really struggling with their health. And my friend's husband, who is typically never really sick, was ill and out of work for several weeks. And he said he genuinely thought he was going to die. He's never felt like that before. And it took a long time for him to recover. By the time I had seen them, he had been recovering for 2 weeks, but had been ill for, I think, almost 4. So pushing 6 weeks before he was feeling well enough to do anything, to the point where they almost canceled their engagement or their anniversary party because she was convinced that he was still too ill to socialize. Well, of course, the time that we all get together, I haven't seen anybody in several years because I had just moved back from Oregon. But of course, I come back and my system is shocked immediately and all kinds of terrible things happen and I get really sick. And I remember after I told people that while I was watching the Hong Kong riots that they released a chemical agent on people and that it was officially biowarfare, I had mixed responses. Some people said that I was crazy and I was making weird assumptions and they don't know where I get my information from, even though I cited sources. And the other half of the people were so uncomfortable because they knew I was right. They had had the same sort of conclusion themselves. It was very stressful. It was very stressful. My body was struggling and I was sick until like March going on April. Like by March, I was able to like get up, walk around, interact with people without coughing my brains out. But, you know, mid-October through most of February, I had a really bad cough. I was really, like my cough was so bad, I genuinely thought my insides were turning out or that I was going to rip my esophagus. And the inside of my body felt like it was shredding itself apart. Like I felt like I had swallowed glass. It was so excruciating. I was bedridden for months. I lost like 40 pounds. I was not okay. And I have had really bad issues with like brain fog, concentration issues. My body hurts when the wind picks up and I start feeling like I might get a cough or something. Like my body gets really tense and I start having anxiety attacks because I was so ill that it psychologically did something to me because I genuinely thought I was dying, dude. The hospitals wouldn't see me. I couldn't get a doctor to see me. Everyone just said, you know, go to the grocery store and get some over-the-counter cough medicine and pray, I guess. And that stressed me out. And then when they started saying it was COVID and stuff, I didn't really know what that meant. I didn't understand the significance of it for some people. I was flying back and forth from Colorado to Texas because I was trying to move. I had a bunch of job opportunities that we're supposed to go through. And then by the time I moved here, lockdown happened. And I was just barely recovering from being ill. And then I'm super stressed out, super anxious from moving, and then everything shut down. So there's lines at the grocery stores. I didn't know what was happening because I didn't have access to the news at that point, and I would just get bits and pieces here from other people's like televisions and occasionally the radio or, you know, whatever stuff I would find on social media, which at the time I didn't have a lot of news sources on. It was mostly just like art related and like meme posts and things. Like I wasn't really efficiently using social media. It was that's weird. It was very strange. And so I started looking into like news sources and doing research and science stuff. And when I had to come back from Texas because everything just went to hell in a handbasket, I got sick again, but I don't know that it was COVID. I think it was just an extension. But I got mono in high school. Now, if you don't know, mononucleosis stays in your system forever. Forever. And when you get it, it can affect you at any time in your life when your body is under immense stress. I almost died from mono in high school because it attacked my immune system so severely that I was almost hospitalized, but they basically were like, well, it is a viral infection, so we can't really do a whole lot but give you these prescriptions and tell you to just stay home and rest. I almost flunked out of high school because I missed a bunch of my classes. I almost didn't get to graduate. Like, it was a horrible time. My mom had to check on me constantly, and she had to send people to our house to make sure I was still breathing because, like, I couldn't swallow, I couldn't eat, I couldn't breathe. And then with COVID, I was having all the same symptoms of mono where my body was heavy, I couldn't wake up, I constantly felt like I was in between life and death at any moment. And then with COVID, it was even worse because I had all the same mono symptoms, like I said, but then this also absolutely horrific cough. And my stomach would hurt, and I would, I'd be really nauseous. And, if you had COVID, you understand it was awful. It was so awful. And my mom, who had not been sick in 20 years, caught COVID and almost fishing died. This woman has never been sick in the 20 years that I was growing up from the last time she had gotten sick. She had walking pneumonia and nobody knew it, and she almost died when I was like 10. And we had no idea how close to death she was because it didn't physically manifest the same way. And she is a trooper, and my mom has had chronic pain and issues with her immune system and stuff for a long time, but she never let it like wear her down. And so it was crazy that she had walking pneumonia, and then 20 years later she gets pneumonia again alongside COVID. And so my mom and I had these two significant health issues that carried forth and hit us like 4 times as hard with COVID. The difference was when my mom got COVID, it was immediately after she had to get one of the shots, because if she didn't get the shot, she would lose her job, and we needed her to have a job. I couldn't get a job because I haven't been vaccinated since I was like 6, because vaccinations almost killed me. Like, my brother and I got mercury poisoning. Like, it was awful. It was awful. It's been an awful time. I do not have a great standing history with the medical professionals of my life. Excuse me. Anyway, all the stuff with the mRNA stuff and the jib jabs and this potentially sticky microclot thing, like, it stresses me out because some people think long COVID came specifically from the vax, and some people think long COVID just hit people who got it and it didn't expel itself through your system. I do see the one comment here. Where did it go? I saw one up here. Okay, whatever. I don't know where it is. Somebody said that the pictures they're showing is actually of like algae and a couple of other things, and that it's not actually that stuff. Where did it go? This person says, correct, Mohini Kalpa, Mohini Wealth on Twitter says, correcting the record, the viral microclot images are actually Hydrodictyon reticulatum algae under microscopy. Real microclot research in long COVID exists in peer-reviewed studies, but this is not it. So it's basically it's water net algae under fluorescent microscopy. It's beautified biology, but not evidence of microclots. I'm going to look into that a little bit more, but because I don't like feeling misled. But the fact that the study is real is also stressful. But I've been wondering what kinds of effects COVID and stuff was going to have on people's bodies, because when I realized that it was biowarfare at its first and finest with us, people acted like I was crazy, and that was an absolutely preposterous thing to talk about when it's a very valid problem. If you know anything about biowarfare, you know that, like, it's so significant and so heinous, and it is a crime against humanity. And them releasing it to the public and then trying to blame China for it when it came out of an American lab funded by Fauci, who I've never liked. That guy is weird. I don't like him. I don't trust him. You shouldn't either. He's come out on record and lied about a bunch of stuff. I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate that. I do not consent to being lied to. That's not cool. I'm not cool with it, man. I will fight him. I'll put on the boxing gloves. But anyway, that guy already is a criminal all on his own, but the fact that Bill Gates had his fingers in it, that should be shady. No, everybody should be asking questions. But also, I have to find the article. I might pull it up tomorrow if we have time. But finding out through some of the files that Jeffrey Epstein had his fingers in helping with some of the newest biochemical agents in illnesses and releasing viruses on the world through like chemtrails and food manipulation, like produce manipulation, is terrifying, because lots of people died from COVID. It killed a lot of people. And it's very hard to sit here and just watch your friends get sick for reasons that don't make sense, and then supposedly very healthy, functional people are just dropping like flies. To me, it just doesn't add up. Something about that just doesn't add up. My experience with it is, I have a friend with COPD, and she said that when she got COVID, she's very lucky to be alive because it should have killed her. She already is at like 1/6 of her lung capacity, and she almost couldn't stay in the hospital being treated for other unrelated things. So that's really upsetting. So there's that. Anyway, so I've been wondering why I've been having problems with like recovering. As some of you know, like I've been having heart problems the last couple of years. I wasn't sure if it was just caused by stress, just from the terrible things that have happened the last few years. But I've had other people say that they're pretty sure that my heart issues are because of, what do you call it? They think that my heart issues are caused by like long-term, chronic, just trauma, basically, like chronic anxiety, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Those kinds of things can physically manifest in some crazy ways in the body. And a lot of my friends are like, yeah, I've had that happen, like I totally understand. And then other people are like, no, I would bet you hard cash it has something to do with COVID. And the fact that some people are saying, I will bet you hard cash that has something to do with COVID, made me a little uncomfortable for a long time, because I'm still having problems breathing. When I take too big a breath, my lungs physically hurt and feel like everything's ripping. When I do certain stretches, I just start coughing. And I know some people will be like, oh, it's because you're out of shape. Yeah, that's also a fact. But two things can be true at the same time and unrelated. I have never been an unhealthy person. I've just had a compromised immune system for most of my life. Since COVID, once I got over that, I haven't really been sick. And I wasn't really sick before that for many years. Like 2014 on, like I was pretty healthy and I didn't get sick. I was with my partner in Vegas at the time, who is Russian, we're not together, but he is still alive. He was giving me all kinds of supplements and vitamins and stuff, and we changed our diet significantly. We were working out. I was one of the healthiest versions of myself I'd been since ever, actually, at all in my life. And then 2019, I was really happy, really healthy. I was having a good time. I was just struggling with some of the crazy stuff in Oregon and those headaches and just a bunch of financial stress. And then I immediately get sick at a really high stress time, and it killed my immune system. All this to say, I've been wondering why I have been struggling with breathing issues, heart problems, brain fog. I physically have problems sleeping. I have symptoms of like restless leg syndrome and like fibromyalgia, but I've been tested for those things and doctors have found everything inconclusive. They have no idea what's wrong. Everyone keeps telling me like, you're very healthy, all your stuff comes back normal, and I'm like, there's no way, because if it was normal, I wouldn't have these problems. And I have had 2 people in the medical field say that they think because I had COVID and it was so hard on my body that it is considered long COVID, and a lot of my fatigue and my like body aches and stuff are from that. on top of it re-triggering my mono experience. And because you can get sick from mono at any point in your life and you can have those symptoms for a long time, those things really affect people long term, and a lot of folks don't know how much that stuff can affect you. So if you have had any of these things, if you've experienced mononucleosis, if you've had COVID, if you think you have long COVID, you know, I don't know if there's tests to actually check that stuff, but start taking care of yourself. I've been saying this just about every week for months. Start taking care of your body. Take care of yourself. Start working out. Start somewhere small if you don't typically work out. Eat better. Eat with more herbs in your cooking. You know, drink some spiced tea. Make some good tea. Get good quality tea. Spend the money on the damn tea. You can't see it, but behind this curtain behind me is a cabinet just stacked full of different teas. I need to drink more tea, but there's a ton of tea behind me. I can't get anyone in my family to drink enough of it, but herbal teas are really good. I have one. Let me grab it. Oh my god, it's so good for you, and it's delicious. I got it while I was in Montana last winter, so I definitely need to, like, drink it up. Where is the ingredients? It says mountain huckleberry. There is not an ounce of huckleberry in it, and I'm only angry at them for lying to me. But it is a gourmet herbal tea, caffeine free because it's herbal. It has cinnamon, rose hips, cloves, lemongrass, hibiscus, strawberry leaf, raspberry leaf, licorice root, stevia leaf, natural and artificial oils, and flavors. This particular tea comes from Missoula, Montana. It smells incredible. Honestly, it kind of reminds me of Halloween because it's got that, like, cinnamon and citrus kind of smell. It's got the rose hips and the lemongrass, which you can smell really well. The licorice you can smell. Oh my god, it's so good. This tea I bought in Montana thinking it was huckleberry. It is not. Hold on one second. Cora! Hey, shush. I think there's like a child playing outside. I'm so sorry. Hey! I need you to shush. Thank you. Anyway, I got this tea thinking it was huckleberry. I was deceived, but I got really kind of ill while I was up with my grandparents and stuff. I was under so much stress that my immune system was definitely a bit compromised, and I was really struggling. I didn't know what to do because traditional, like, over-the-counter medicines, they don't do crap for me. They do not help me. It does not matter what the medicine is. It will not work. NyQuil makes me feel like I'm having a bad acid trip. I get delusional. I get really nauseous. It makes everything worse. I don't understand what's going on. I get very confused. It reminds me of my opiate allergy. Like, if you give me something like Vicodin or Oxy something or other, hydrocodones, I get so sick. I get confused. I get very aggressive. I don't know what's happening. It stresses me out immensely. I cannot take those things. I have tried, like, Robitussin. I've tried all those things. They do not work. I do not like them. So I usually try to go for the healthiest options that are possible in my area. In this case, it was this tea. I had 2 cups of this tea a day for 2 weeks, and I recovered so much faster, like, in all, than I would have if I had tried to take medicine. I started putting more spices in my cooking. I started really considering, like, what I was putting, like, in my coffee, for instance. Like, I always put cinnamon and nutmeg in my coffee. I like hazelnut syrup. I know I like sweeter coffees. I don't put a lot, but I put a little bit of hazelnut syrup, and I like, you know, latte. I have a sweet cream that I use, so that's, like, my sweetest drink, but I put the cinnamon and the nutmeg in it, and I'm telling you, when I'm ill, I trade the coffee out for tea. If I'm feeling ill, nauseous, etc., I am drinking tea. And I drink all kinds of tea that typically has, this one doesn't, but typically I have tea that has more than just the cloves and rose hips and cinnamon, but like lemongrass, excuse me, was it lemon balm? No, that's something else. Yeah, no, lemongrass. I can't have mint, but catnip. Lemongrass, catnip, turmeric. I think it was thyme, and yeah, rose hips was a tea that was made for me for headaches. I know there was something else in there that she put that I can never remember. Cloves are really good for you. Star anise is really good for you. I'm allergic to it, which is really unfortunate because I love the taste of it in stuff. So like I used to drink a lot of chais, the actual like chai tea. I know chai is like tea with milk, but like the celestial seasonings style chai, you know what I mean? Like where it's very spicy, very spicy. I used to drink a lot of that. That would clear my stuff out real quick. Jasmine tea has been really good for me. It does wonders. With this particular herbal tea, I put a little bit of honey in it, and it changed my life. It makes a really good iced tea also. But I started trying to do things more natural and as natural as possible. I focus on natural remedies. I try not to do anything artificial if I can help it. I don't like processed sugars. You know, I don't like it. I don't like doing it anymore. The more I have changed my eating habits and what I consume over the years, the healthier I have felt. When the coughing and the weird stuff pops up and other people are like mad ill and like dropping like flies, just coughing and you know, feverish and all of that, like I just stay away from that. I drink a ton of tea. I put like sea salt and clove and lemon in my water. I'm not a fan of the clove in water by itself, but it works really well. Hot lemon water and cloves is really good for you with honey. Just start taking care of yourselves. Fight these biological things that are focusing on and attacking stuff in our body that is because of the processed foods that we eat, and start like cutting things out. Try to cut out corn syrup as soon as you can, as much as you can. I know everything in America has corn syrup in it. Do your best to cut corn syrup out. It will change your life. I have lost weight since I cut out corn syrup, and I don't feel as sick and bloated and inflamed not consuming corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup, very specifically, because that's really what's killing us. I cut that stuff out and I feel totally different. You know, I'm having other issues with my personal weight journey because of probably genetics, to be honest, but just with all the physical trauma I've been through the last few years, it's been very difficult for me to get back to my physical healthier space. However, like you know, muscles and you know, just being fit, I am not right now, and I'm working on that. But alongside trying to make better physical choices, I have made significant healthy food choices, and it has changed the way that I feel in my body. What's crazy and frustrating to me is that I still have this brain fog. I still have this weird lethargy a lot. I get really tired. Those headaches really take me out. Like, I will be down for a day and a half sometimes. And not just because I have a migraine, but because it takes everything out of me, and I am physically incapable of doing anything until I've had at least 24 hours to recover. There was a couple weeks ago, I was trying to schedule phone calls and do stuff, and it took me 5 days to recover from a like manic episode induced by a migraine. That was a weird experience. I can talk about that a different time, but that was not fun. And for me, mania exists almost exclusively inside. I don't really have to deal with it too much. It's not like an external experience. I don't have too many issues. What is this? Flea in chat says spices and good salt makes the rest of the nutrients and vitamins in the food and drink. Grog and ale even perform their best. I heard dandelion tea. Dandelion root specifically is cancer fighting effects. Dandelion root specifically is really good for you to put in like water and stuff. I had dandelion root in my water for a long time along with like lemon and stuff. So yes, I highly agree. Some folks have told me to try kratom. I have not tried that yet. It is oddly available everywhere here in Texas, but I don't know how to feel about it. Also, I'm not a fan of ginger, but I know that ginger is really, really good for you. I put it in pretty much everything I cook, but I hate eating it by itself. Like candied ginger, I struggle so much. Baking soda and peroxide, also good things to have just in general and stuff. So yes, Flea, you are 100% correct on pretty much all of that. Lemons improve pH, also lime. Lime is really good for you. Lemon and cucumber water with a little bit of sea salt, absolutely divine with a dandelion root. It will change the way that water feels for you. Like I said before, I have also gotten a magnesium additive filter to my water filter thingy, and that has significantly improved everyone in the house's physical experience. I don't get as bad cramps. Like when I get the migraines and stuff, the headaches don't hurt as much when I drink that water. I have a bunch of Epsom salt with magnesium sulfate in it. Be careful. I learned the hard way that magnesium sulfate is a laxative. It'll take everything out of you. Oh my god. It will clean you straight out. So be careful with that. If you have minor aches and pains and tension in your body, I highly recommend use it, but also make sure that you have not consumed a lot of water or other things, or you and the bathroom will be intimately connected. TMI, I'm sorry, but it's a fact. If you don't know, magnesium glycinate, magnesium sulfate, and I don't remember what the other one is. There's another type of magnesium that if you're not careful and you take too much, it will empty your body so immensely that your soul will be concerned that it doesn't have room. So just be careful. Flea says kratom can be mixed with many things like colloidal silver and kombucha. Yes, it mixes well with juices, smoothies, and I'm going to try tea now. That sounds fantastic. I got to look into the kombucha more, honestly, and kratom. Mr. Rowe also put in chat, site launch announcement. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm struggling so much with words lately. I don't know why. Hola, folks. Just letting you know our new site is live at freedomslips.net. Ooh, let's see. That looks pretty cool, Mr. Rowe. I dig it. That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. Freedomslips.net, folks. I like it. This is pretty cool. I remember, yeah, for a long time, I've had a lot of people ask me, like, why is all the Revolution Radio social media say Freedom Slips? And I'm like, well, because freedomslips.com used to be our website, and then it got hijacked by some Thai gambling agency, and now we are revolution.radio, which is fine. But if I tell people I work with Revolution Radio, they think I'm talking about local radio stations. So freedomslips.net is actually pretty cool. I like that. We can go back to that. It's cool. Thank you, Mr. Rowe. I appreciate that update. That's fantastic. Also, Flea, since you brought it up, can you tell me where you get your colloidal silver? That sounds pretty neat. So yeah, so that's some health stuff. We can talk about the COVID thing a little bit more later if people are interested, or if you have questions, you can just message me. It sucked and I hate it, and I recommend taking very good care of yourself after that, because it has absolutely wiped tons of people out in more ways than one. I do want to jump into this this video I found about Cuba this afternoon. It really put kind of a dark tone on things. So I'm gonna share that. It is like a 7-minute video, so I apologize in advance. It's gonna be a bit, I might pause it a couple times to like address some things. Mr. Rowe, that's cute. Flea says, you motivate me to dig through my medicine bag and find the mood regulating pills. LMAO. they're 10 years old. Yeah, dig those out, but maybe get fresh ones. Yes, St. John's wort. That is a really good one too. And then what is that? Lithium orotate. I am gonna put those on my list. Those are actually things that people have told me to look into for a long time. So Flea shared in chat pictures. It says advanced research is the brand. It says lithium orotate dietary supplement, and then naturalist standardized extract of St. John's wort, WORT, for those who don't know. Those are things that a lot of people have suggested to me for a long time to get into. Also, thank you so much for being part of the conversation. I really appreciate it. Just to accidentally violently change subjects for a minute. Beep, beep, beep. Yeah, let me share my screen really quick. Discord. This guy. Alright, I'm gonna play this in for a second. So like I said, I saw this earlier. It says Midas _ Charisse Lee, or Carice Lee maybe. Cuba experiencing severe and unprecedented socioeconomic crisis described as a, quote, near total collapse, unquote. Extreme critical shortage of fuel, electricity, and basic necessities. The country's running out of oil and electrical grid has failed, leaving the population in the dark for days. This was posted today, earlier this morning, and it is very stressful. I see someone else down here, Bob Thibodeau, says they are, I am sure, not freezing to death like the Ukrainians. He says Obama reopened relations with Cuba only to have Trump crush them and all their people he can grift on. At least put your marks in context. So I did know that we sort of just reopened some sort of like shipping stuffs with Cuba. Like we just started opening trade with them again recently. And it's very, I don't know, it's very stressful. So anyway, let's play this for just a second.
Cuba has fallen. That's the news that I am delivering to you today. It has been 15 days since the blockade had begun, where all oil for the oil-dependent nation has been blocked. And though the Cuban government has tried to ration that as long as they can, the fact is they've just timed out. They've ran out of oil. So what we're watching right now is a complete collapse of the Cuban national energy grid. There are pockets of generated power for military bases and bunkers, compounds like that don't help the people. For 95% of the population, over 11 million people are now without power, and that power is not coming back on. Our focus on this series has really been to highlight what's going on for the Cuban people as themselves, not just the melodrama that's playing between the Cuban government and the American administration. And over the past 15 days, the Cuban people have been living through what is essentially an apocalyptic scenario, but only kind of on the precipice. As of today, it goes full-blown apocalyptic in Cuba. We're no longer tracking blackout hours. We're now going to start tracking the survival metrics, water access, food spoilage, and of course, cholera outbreaks. This, of course, is because with the massive energy...
I just want to make a comment too. I did see a bunch of reposts like over the last few weeks of a guy, I'm not sure who the speaker exactly was, but I want to say he was Swedish, but don't quote me on that. There was a couple of speakers recently at what I assumed was the European Union. Where are these bugs coming from? I believe it was the European Union, and they were saying that water is going to be a scarcity now, and that people are going to be running out of water, and that countries are going to be deciding who gets water and stuff. And I don't know, it just they were talking about make sure you can survive the first like 48 to 72 hours without electricity. Make sure you have like water stocked up, make sure you have some like flashlights, maybe a ham radio, other such things. Like they were coming out and genuinely saying there is some crazy terrible stuff that's about to befall the world, and that multiple countries need to be really focused on educating their people on survival. And then they specifically called out the United States. I'll have to see if I can find it. It's all pretty much shared on my X account. If you go to, you know, x.com/missbethecat, you'll be able to see my stuff. It really stresses me out, to be honest. All of it is just, it's very oof. I don't know. Willow shared an article. It says Bill Gates pulls out of India's AI summit over Epstein files control controversy. Sorry. Interesting. I will look into that also. On his 66th birthday. Interesting. Flea says, I bought my silver makers from these guys over 25 years ago. I'm going to save this. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for that, you guys. Oops, where'd it go? Willow says, I remember my late sister once remarking that there would come a day when all these folks in the so-called upper echelon society would start turning on each other. As they, yeah, it's very predictable. They're all terrible people, and I hope that things get called out more. Let's try to finish this video before I run out of time.
Failing sewage system sanitation processes have also shut down. So all throughout the country, there is sewage overflowing on the streets. That means that disease is essentially spreading. With no available clean water to 90% of the population right now, that means that the only sources of water that they have, especially without the ability to purify that water or boil it, what you're going to see is massive waves of disease hit over the next couple weeks, because these takes time to incubate. It's going to run through the population of 11 million people in a country 90 miles south of Florida. Now, there was an announcement by the Russians 2 days ago that they were going to be sending humanitarian aid in the form of fuel to Cuba, but yesterday, Russian state-flagged tanker Academic Passion declaring its cargo humanitarian fuel was actually stopped 12 miles outside of Cuba and boarded by U.S. forces. So as far as anyone breaking the blockade, it looks like there is a kinetic stalemate that's happening right now. But what does that tell the Cuban people is that there's no help coming, there's no oil coming. But because yesterday of a massive fire in the most important oil refinery in Havana, even if oil did come in at this point, say a negotiation was made between the Trump administration and the Castro government in Cuba, the fact is there'd be no way to process any kind of oil. So there's nothing that the people of Cuba can do right now. They've been reliant on a failing infrastructure for too long, and now that it's shut down and the only way to process oil for fuel, at least the fuel that people use, there's no way out of this. There's no way out of this. A state-run internet and cell service has essentially gone down. The only way of having any kind of communication in Cuba right now is through amateur ham radio operators and whoever was able to smuggle in satellite phones before the blockade actually happened. Now, the U.S. victory of enforcing this blockade has really come at a massive diplomatic cost at a time where diplomatic tensions across the world right now are incredibly fractured. The only support from another nation that the U.S. has had on its actions in Cuba has been Israel. And with Cuba looking like it's going to be America's Gaza in the Western Hemisphere, I doubt there's going to be any support coming from anyone else. Now, the UK has remained silent, but France and Spain have issued statements stating their grave concern. But the UN Security Council meeting is calling to condemn the U.S. actions because it's leading to a mass starvation of people. Now, be assured that if that's what this leads to, which it most assuredly will at this point, because even if you bring in food, there's no way to cook it. Even if you bring in oil, there's no way to process it. This would be the largest humanitarian crisis that is now happening here in living history on the Western Hemisphere. And it's caused by the American government, the American military, and the Western Alliance is completely fracturing over the morality of this siege. So to summarize this all kind of on day 15, the countdown is officially over. The national energy grid is down. The island of Cuba has gone dark. The escape routes are closed, and the superpowers are in a kinetic standoff at sea. This is not a good place for the Cuban people to be. And there is essentially nothing going on American mainstream media when it comes to coverage of this. And I think that that's on purpose. It was easy to seal off Cuba. And it's easy to make sure that nothing's coming out of Cuba. And you are seeing videos all throughout Latin America, all throughout Central and South America about what's going on in Cuba. It's just not in America. You're seeing it in Canada, not in America. This is a media blackout that's being done by our mainstream media. The only voices that are talking about what's happening in Cuba to the Cuban people. I don't care about the government. I don't care about whether they're communist, anything like that. I care about people. And the fact that we, as Americans, by our silence, are condoning 11 million people being thrown into an apocalyptic scenario where they're deprived of food, of water, of health care, where children are becoming casualties, where the elderly are becoming casualties, anyone with chronic illness are becoming casualties, and soon the young and the healthy will also become casualties as disease runs through the population, as the lack of clean water or the absence of water altogether throws the people into absolute shock and a state of survival. Now, the hope from the U.S. administration is that this kind of pressure that was put on the people would force the population's hand to confront the government. But the fact is the people have been thrown into a state of survival almost immediately. That's how fragile the Cuban system actually was. And the Black Berets did their job. I mean, listen, they went from securing energy resources, securing fuel and food sources, to quickly cracking down. There was only 2 real protests that has happened this entire time. And what happened is exactly what you think would happen. Provocateurs were arrested and disappeared. And the people know, and they understand that even if the government falls, there's no immediate change. So we'll keep following this and let you know what's going on as the situation continues to degrade in Cuba. But we appreciate your time and your attention on this one. If you're still here at this point, like and subscribe. Ring the bell.
So this is TikTok at thetruth.teller and then the number 1. I don't think I have a whole lot of time for the other thing that I was gonna do, so yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so that's potentially where all of that is. Rick. Hello, Rick. I was playing a video I found on Twitter. If you have a Twitter account, I can send you the link. This gentleman or person, whomever, let's see, copy link. This is reposted by somebody from TikTok. So I'm going to look into the stuff with Cuba because this is the first time I've heard of it. I see somebody, the same person who posted this originally, was it Midas Carice Lee, at Carice Lee. They said underneath that Mexico recently sent 2 Navy ships with over 800 tons of food and aid to Havana, Cuba in mid-February 2026 amid a deep energy and humanitarian crisis, but they have actually halted oil shipments to avoid U.S. tariffs. While Mexico sent food, milk, and supplies, President Claudia Sheinbaum halted oil shipments to Cuba in early January of this year following threats of tariffs from the Trump administration. Yikes. Oof. Yeah, so that's... I will be watching that over the next few days because I don't know much about that. Like, this is the first time I'm hearing of it. So, I find that very disturbing. There's all kinds of things that are really, really upsetting lately, and you know what's crazy is I know I saved more stuff today, and some of the bookmarks that I saved are missing, which means the posts have been taken down. Because I'm not seeing most of the stuff I saved today. There is a bunch of stuff that is suddenly missing. Unless it was posted a while ago? No, this is a lot of this I didn't save today. I saved this earlier in the week. What? This is upsetting. There's a bunch of stuff missing. Okay, let me go to my profile, see if it's just liked. Your likes are private, only you can see them, except now that I'm sharing them on the internet. Oh, I keep passing this. Also, I found out that Israel detained Tucker Carlson and his crew after an interview with the U.S. Ambassador Huckabee. Carlson said, men claiming to be airport security took our passports, dragged our executive producer aside, and demanded to know what we discussed with Huckabee. I have not found that article, so I'm not entirely sure what this is all about. But if they're going after Tucker Carlson, it's getting kind of crazy. Oh yeah, also, where'd it go? Was this in a reply to something? Oh yeah, so Erica Kirk allegedly is being linked again to a sex trafficking network as her pastor is facing child trafficking counts. Her pastor for TPUSA is under investigation for child abuse. Someone responded, she used to run an orphanage in Romania for child sex trafficking. She was behind her husband's murder, and she's a Mossad agent. I have some feelings about that, but we don't have to go into the Erica Kirk files right now. I am composing a whole thing about that. My brother and I were talking about that earlier, too. It was just like, wow. Wow. So there's a lot happening, man. Former Prince Andrew was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in the public office. I think that's hilarious. He finally got arrested. Terrible, terrible human being. Also, this whole thing with Ghislaine Maxwell and the fake Ghislaine Maxwell, that's driving me crazy. I've been diving into that because the second I saw the first mugshot, I was like, that's not Ghislaine Maxwell. And everybody was like, you're crazy. And I was like, do you still think I'm crazy? Do you still think that Jeffrey Epstein did, in fact, kill himself? Do you think that for real, for real, for real? Because I think you might be missing the context around stuff. Oh my goodness, what? Flea shared something in chat from Heavy Metal 1981. More predictive programming. An illustration. The Lochnar at the Metropolitan, July 3rd, 2031. Oh, goodness. Goodness, goodness, goodness. You know, professor discovers ancient relic to be shown in New York Museum with the Olympics on the other side. Interesting. I'm gonna save these because my dad used to read a bunch of these, the heavy metal magazines, and I would be curious to see if he knew which issue these were in. Let me know out there if you've read heavy metal. Let's see, I don't think I have time to put it up, but maybe I do. Let me see. Beep, 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 beep. We'll just grab this this one? This is the video for those on Twitch, or picture, sorry. This is the picture that Flea shared in chat. Do with that what you will. If you read heavy metal, let me know if you remember what issue this was in and in what context. I'm curious, unless Flea happens to have it. Oh, that's from the movie. Oh, okay. I did not realize that. That makes sense. It looks more like movie animation. Just kidding. It's from the heavy metal movie. Oh, that's why it says 1981. I'm dumb and need context sometimes. My bad. Thank you. Anyway, so clearing that up, it's from the movie. I will go back and watch the movie. I have it on DVD. It's actually, I think it's available on HBO right now if you have streaming and you want to watch it. So there's that. I like that everybody just calls me Cat. I am Miss B the Cat, and it is funny to me that people just refer to me as Cat or the Cat. It's just funny. I don't know why. Anyway, that's my show today. I have some things I will have a little bit more clear thought on tomorrow, but those were some things that I wanted to talk about today that I think are important, that I wanted to revisit, and yeah. So tomorrow we will do our oracle reading. I will look into a little bit more deeper research on what you can do for going into the fire horse for each zodiac sign if you are into that. And then, of course, the second hour we will read The Untethered Soul. I believe we're on chapter 7? Chapter 8, actually, maybe? Hold on, let me double check. Chapter 8. It will be called Let Go Now or Fall. We are in part 3, Freeing Yourself. So if you're interested and you want to get a head start, The Untethered Soul, A Journey Beyond Yourself by Michael Singer. It is like $18 at the bookstore unless you can find it used. And it has a really nice little like workbook that you can do along with it, that I would recommend for anybody who actively wants to do that work. I guess my book's not going to go back on the bookshelf. Yeah, anyway, thanks for hanging out. If you're interested in looking at the stream so you can see some of the visual stuff, check my Twitch out, twitch.tv/MissBeTheCat. If you would like to support me personally, you can subscribe to my Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/MissBeTheCat. If you barely remember that and you can just type in Ko-fi, you can just type in Miss B the Cat, and I come right up. And you can support me there as a radio host and as an artist. I would really appreciate it. I have some t-shirts available that you can see on my Twitch stream for Omnium-Gatherum. Half of the proceeds for every t-shirt that I sell will go to the radio station because you guys have been hosting me so generously, and I love you. And I love all our listeners. You guys mean so much to me. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and having a time. Thank you, Flea and Willow and Mr. Rowe, for being active in the chat. Monster, that's funny. Heck yeah, Flea, go make that tea. Hashtag love from Miss B. Please stay tuned next for Crypt Rick. He's always absolutely fantabulastic. At some point, either Friday or Saturday, I don't know yet, I will be joining Solaris, I think. So check that out. It might be a long show for me tomorrow. It might not. I don't know. I have no idea if I have a guest. I think I'm supposed to have a guest on Saturday, but she needed to double check some things. So it might be just me this weekend by myself, but, you know, it's fine. We'll figure it out. And if you're interested in supporting me as an artist, I'm gonna do my best to get back into regular streaming Sundays and Mondays and Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Central Time. So hang out with me while I do some art and stuff. Yeah. Alright, I'll see you guys tomorrow, 4 p.m. I love you so much. Please stay tuned for Crypt Rick. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you. And I love you. Good night.